Hi, welcome to Channel 9 Live here at Microsoft Ignite. I'm Pumla Schmidt, and I'm here with my special guest, Ross Smith, who
Hello?
some of you may know him from the exchange world, but we're here to talk about Outlook Mobile. Ross, you want to tell us what you've been doing lately
Yeah.
here at your role at Microsoft?
Yeah, sure. So recently I moved over to the Intune team in engineering, and I'm focusing as an architect within the customer acceleration division. And my focus area is securing Outlook for iOS and Android, or what we refer to as Outlook Mobile.
Okay, so as a former exchange admin, a couple years ago when Outlook Mobile came out, I looked at it and I thought, wow, I'm not sure if this is enterprise ready. But I think it's come a long way. Can you kind of tell us a little bit,
It certainly has.
where it's been and where it's at now?
Yeah, it certainly has. Outlook Mobile initially began through an acquisition of Acompli and has been rebranded as Outlook. And over the years, we have done a significant amount of work to improve the enterprise story for our customer base. We moved off of Amazon Web Services, as an example, and moved to an Office 365-based architecture. We've done improvements around moving away from legacy-based authentication solutions, and leveraging modern authentication, or OAuth, as two main examples of how we helped transition the architecture. And we've done a significant amount of improvements throughout that time as well. We iterate weekly and release builds on a weekly basis, so we're always improving the product consistently.
So it's definitely enterprise ready. Now, is it just for Office 365 users, or is there room for on-premises? Because we still have those around.
Yes. So, well, we should look at it as Outlook Mobile is built as an application that can be used for both your personal and work life. So we are grounded in the ability to provide
So
consumer
wait,
services and work.
So how do you secure that? Because
Yeah.
organizations, especially like healthcare, there's certain regulations. You can't mix
Right.
data. So how are you guys doing that?
Yeah. So lots of questions there. So yes, we support Office 365. We support on-premises mailboxes. We support consumer mailboxes. How we ensure that we separate or ensure that the corporate or work data is not leaked or is protected is through our enterprise mobility and security offerings, specifically conditional access and Intune. We have conditional access that enables customers to lock down so that only Outlook Mobile is the preferred app for accessing corporate data as the mobile messaging client. And then we have Intune app protection policies, which can be leveraged to encrypt and protect and ensure the data cannot be transferred outside of what we refer to as a protected or managed app.
Okay, so is it like a container? Because I know, as a former Exchange admin, we would think of that as containerizing the app.
That is one way you can look at it for sure, yes. We use technologies like encryption to encrypt the actual corporate data. We use controls that we've built through the Intune SDK and what's available in the individual operating system platforms to ensure you can't do simple things like cut, copy, and paste into other applications.
So if an end user, let's say the CEO, were to lose his phone, how can we ensure that the messages in his mailboxes are not going to be, read?
Yeah. That's a great question, and that actually highlights something that we're seeing as the industry moves forward, in that we are moving away from the typical device enrollment scenario to more of a BYOD type of scenario where users, mobile devices are ubiquitous. They're everywhere. Everybody has one these days. So that need or desire for the end user just to have a single device, that personal device that they can also load corporate data, but also not necessarily have to enroll that device, is paramount to their own feelings of security around ensuring that their personal and corporate data are isolated. And that, as an example, that CEO who loses his phone doesn't have to worry about that the admin will issue a wipe that wipes all his personal photos. What we can do through app protection policies is we can do three types of things. So in the case of a lost device, we can wipe. An admin can issue the wipe that wipes the corporate data within the app. So whether that be SharePoint, OneDrive, or Outlook, we can wipe the corporate data, or any of the other Office apps. And then there's also user-initiated type of events. The user jailbreaks their device, for example. We can detect that, and we can wipe the data automatically.
Okay.
So if they do certain things that we don't, as IT, don't feel is safe, we can ensure the corporate data is still protected.
So for the hearsay, the near say, if I have a personal device, will you see any of my personal items or my personal apps and what I'm doing? Are you spying? Because that's a misconception as well.
Yes, and and that wasn't an answer to that. Yes, we do. We certainly don't. And that's the key. Is Intune can only manage the corporate data. We've built in multiple identity capabilities, so we can detect what is the corporate identity versus what is a personal account. Whether that personal account be Outlook.com, Gmail, Yahoo, it doesn't matter. We can specifically target through the identity construct and protect only that corporate data.
So let's talk a little bit more about some of these features when we are having multiple profiles. Let's say as an enterprise user, I want to access somebody else's mailbox. Are you able to do that? Because I know those are certain requests as an admin that we would get.
Yeah. So definitely, lots of customers need the capability to do shared mailbox capability and delegate mailbox capability. What we've delivered to date is the ability for Office 365 mailboxes to access shared calendars and delegate calendars. So it automatically just lights up when a person shares out or assigns permissions to that calendar. It will automatically appear across the platform of Outlook suite. So whether that be mobile, web, or desktop or Mac. We are building support now that we hope to release in Q2 of calendar year 19 for shared mailbox folder support for Office 365 mailboxes.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of customers will really like that.
They will love it.
Can you talk a little bit more about the roadmap that's coming down?
Yeah. So we are heavily focused right now on a number of enterprise features, and we're also continuing to evolve that Office 365 based architecture that we've implemented. We are transitioning to a new underlying protocol stack to consolidate the protocols that we're leveraging across the suite of Outlook. And we are also investing in a number of enterprise-related features as a result of that. Name one, shared mailbox folders. We're looking at classification, labeling, and protection as another option that we'll be delivering in early calendar year 19. And S-MIME is another example that we'll be delivering because we have a huge proponent across government and European sector that leverage S-MIME on a daily basis, and we recognize that that is a feature gap. From an end user focus, we're looking at bringing what we refer to as favorite people with notifications. It's that VIP type of experience that some other native mail clients offer that we want to provide for that unique experience.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that native mail experience. I know a lot of users like that. I like it as well. So if someone were to come to you and say, why should I use Outlook Mobile? What would be your big thing to say?
Yeah, there's several pillars that we would focus on. First being security, right? We can provide a way to ensure that the corporate data is protected. We can leverage advanced authentication solutions like Modern Auth, MFA, CBA, whatever solution is needed to meet the requirements. We also have our app protection policies to protect that corporate data. And then we have unique feature sets that are only built within Outlook that are unavailable to native mail clients. Office 365 groups, which are becoming an important mechanism. Integration with Skype for Business, Teams, To Do, all these things that we are investing in over the coming months are areas that make the app stand out and are far and above what the basic capabilities are in the native mail clients.
So I'm using this app. Can I click on the link that somebody sends to me within an email?
Yes.
And will that link open up, let's say, another application, like a Microsoft application?
Yeah. Yes. So
Can that be controlled?
Yes. So we have the capability through app protection policies to assign whether you're going to use a protected browser, which could be the Intune managed browser or the Edge browser that we've shipped for iOS and Android.
What if I want to save those documents in an email? On my when you save it, does it save it to your device, or can I save it to a different location?
Yeah. So you have the capability as an end user to save data where you want, whether that on any storage repository, Box, OneDrive, etc. But as an IT administration, especially focused on the corporate data and ensuring that you want to protect the corporate data, you can protect those type of save locations. You can restrict it down so that on the corporate account, you can only save to OneDrive for Business or SharePoint. You can even prevent saving to the local device.
Now, can you, I guess, cross the profiles? So let's say you're in your personal and you open an attachment within your personal email. Can that be crossed over to the corporate?
Depending on the configuration, you can allow data from an unprotected account or unprotected app to be transferred into a protected app. As an IT, you'll be also able to control whether that protected app data can be moved to unprotected. And typically, you allow the unprotected data to move into the protected space, but you prevent the protected data from being moved out of the protected space.
Okay. I'm just thinking of all like the scenarios because when we were looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is it's not quite enterprise, but you guys have evolved this so much. It's
Yes.
almost like, wow, makes everybody want to use it. But there are still people out there that really don't. I guess all the myths. So can we go through all the misconceptions?
Yeah. So
'Cause I know we touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's hit them all.
Okay. So obviously the first being our entire architecture is based in the Microsoft Cloud within Office 365.
No more AWS.
No more Amazon Web Services at all.
Awesome.
Second misconception, Office 365 mailboxes only leverage modern authentication for connectivity, which means that there's no credential storage, there's no credential caching, no basic auth use whatsoever for our Office 365 mailboxes. For on-premises mailboxes, we have two offerings. The architecture we have just released is what we refer to as hybrid modern authentication for on-premises mailboxes, and that supports modern authentication, as the name implies. And then there is the legacy approach, which is a basic authentication solution. We highly recommend customers move to the hybrid approach and leverage modern authentication for even their on-premises mailboxes.
Let's talk about hybrid.
Yeah.
And so if you're on premises, what versions of Exchange do you need to be on to be able to use
It's a great question.
this setup? Because I know, admins saying, oh, wow, we still have an on-premises Exchange.
Yeah.
We can use Outlook Mobile and secure it, but let's touch that.
So we've designed the hybrid modern authentication scenario to support Exchange 2013, Exchange 2016, and Exchange 2019. There's one version I didn't mention, which is Exchange 2010. Exchange 2010 does not support modern authentication. It's now out of mainstream support. So that particular server offering has to be removed from the on-premises environment in order to enable modern authentication.
So let's say an environment still has, or they're running Exchange 2016, but they haven't completely removed that last 2010 server.
Yeah.
Are they,
They need to remove that 2010 server.
even though they're not using it?
Yes, because the way we detect whether we can enable modern authentication is through the hybrid configuration wizard. The hybrid configuration wizard analyzes the entire messaging environment and sees what versions of servers are out there. And if 2010 is in there, the hybrid configuration wizard won't set up OAuth or modern authentication.
So if our attendee, I think you have a session.
I do.
Yes.
So tomorrow morning at 10:45 a.m., I have a session on how to deploy Outlook Mobile securely in the enterprise.
So if you want to learn more,
Come to my session, definitely.
That's great. I think it's, I actually use it. But I use the native mail app as well for Google Mail for those VIPs. So I'm really glad that you guys are bringing that over because, everybody needs those special alerts. And I'm really looking forward to the shared mailboxes too.
Can't
the
wait to
shared
deliver
folders.
it. We know everyone will be excited for that feature.
And are you going to be at the community, the Outlook community?
I will be at
time
the
tomorrow?
community event as well. Yes.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing you there. And all our attendees out there, thank you for joining us. And
Thanks for having me.
And stay tuned for more from Channel 9 Live here at Microsoft Ignite.